Just for the camera, I want us to talk again about certification. I think you said something about in Cuba, people are somewhat distrustful of someone who has a lot of certificates.
Yes, what happens in Cuba is that we do not go so much through papers. Of course, there are doctors, there are masters, that everything is going on like everywhere else in the world. But what happens in Cuba is that when someone is going to lecture, no one even looks at whether the guy is a doctor or a PhD or whatever. When they say this guy is an expert in what he does, and then everybody goes and listen. And it's not so much about having to say, hey, I bring you this guy, he has taught in 20 universities around the world. We don't go by that. We want to see what you're going to deliver, and that's what we're going to judge you by.
And so someone who has great life experience, who has perhaps chronicled by writing their view and what they have, people they have met and their reaction to problems, that may be more
those are the things that are really interesting for people in Cuba. I mean, we don't want people to lecture on what the academic world says, because we also have books and we read them. To us, it's more about seeing the human being and the experiences and how that relates to whatever they do or whatever they want to emphasize on in their lecturing. But it's more on a conversational style of interchange. Those are the things that basically people appreciate in Cuba. You see, and people want to ask questions on this and that. Or if you like photography, they want to know what have you shot and what are the places that attract you the most. And then, I mean, it's more on that style than the rigid academic style of a guy lecturing, I mean, whatever he has squeezed from the internet.
Brilliant. So, and then as far as the language situation, there's plenty of people in an audience who can provide spontaneous, instantaneous translation.
Well, the whole audience might not need that. And there's lots of people who speak English in Cuba. Lots of them. Cuba has like 5 or 6 different international symposiums and congresses and stuff where people come from all over the world. And those who do it in English, most of the time they don't even require translation because most of the people understand English.
Great.
You cannot think of Cuba as a far remote island from the Pacific. You have to think of Cuba as a country where the Americans lived for 50 years, from 1900 to 1959. I mean, almost 60 years. And we have a naval base, and we listen to American radio, we listen to American music, and we watch American movies. So English is a thing that, it's almost natural to Cubans.
This is great, because I want my colleagues to put in their mind, what do I know that I can share with a group of people who have been isolated? And
now, you see, that's what the good thing is all. I mean, that's what this is the correct approach, the one that you're taking now. It's the human experience, the one that does not go to the books, the one that doesn't make it probably to TV or movies. The human experience is what is so interesting for Cubans because we have been isolated from the contact with foreign cultures.
right, and part of it is the embargo on our side, but also there are some limitations on interaction with any tourist.
Well, exactly. I mean, if you think of America is also a big island.
Yeah.
Not many Americans travel abroad, or they've been to France or Africa or stuff like that, where they have encountered other human experiences and they have shared those experiences. That I don't see America being a country where people really travel a lot for the sake of understanding how other people live and how other cultures are. That is mostly a European thing. Even Canadians travel more than Americans do.
60%.
I don't know. I might be wrong.
No, I think you're right, because if you look at percent who own a passport, only 40% of U.S. people have a passport.
There you go.
So it will be like one island visiting another island, and we share our isolation.
That's true.
Well, thank you for this moment of looking into the future, and
Okay, sir.
we look forward to contact with Mario Patriot at yahoo.com.